In a narrow alleyway between two crowded marketplaces stood a tiny clock shop that most people never noticed. Its wooden sign hung crooked, its windows fogged with dust, and its shelves filled with clocks that ticked at different rhythms, as if each kept time for a different world. The shop belonged to an old man named Aldrich, a master clockmaker who had a curious talent. He repaired clocks no one else could fix, but only if the owner told him the truth about why they wanted the time repaired. People whispered that Aldrich could hear the stories inside broken clocks, but few believed it. One cold winter morning, a young woman named Leora entered the shop carrying a silver pocket watch with a cracked face and stopped hands. Her voice trembled as she said, "It belonged to my father, and it hasn't moved since the night he died." Aldrich nodded silently, took the watch in his shaky hands, and listened to it as if it were whispering. For days, he worked on the watch, unscrewing tiny gears, polishing delicate parts, adjusting springs no larger than eyelashes. But something felt wrong. The watch resisted every repair, ticking for a moment only to fall still again. Late one night, frustrated, Aldrich placed it beside the dozens of other, unfixable, clocks inside. That was when he noticed something. All the clocks in his shop, every broken hour, every silent second, began to tick in unison, slowly, softly, building toward a rhythm he hadn't heard in years. The clocks were speaking. Aldrich followed the sound to Leora's watch, which flickered with a faint silver glow. He whispered, "Show me what you carry." Suddenly, the shop filled with an image, a memory of Leora as a little girl, running to her father during a festival. She held out the pocket watch, and he lifted her high into the air, laughing as fireworks burst above them. The memory sparkled like stars and dissolved. Aldrich understood then, the watch wasn't broken. It was holding time still because Leora had never let herself move on. The watch was waiting for her heart to do the same. The next day, Aldrich called Leora back. He placed the watch gently into her hands and said, "It will tick when you're ready, not when I repair it." Tears filled her eyes as she held it close. "I don't know how to be ready," she whispered. Aldrich smiled softly. "Time doesn't wait for readiness. It moves the moment we choose to heal." At that moment, the watch gave a tiny, delicate tick. Leora gasped. Another tick. And another. Slowly, the watch began to glow warmly as the hands moved forward for the first time in years. Leora sobbed into her palms, not from grief, but from release. She looked at Aldrich and said, "You didn't fix the watch, you fixed me." Aldrich shook his head gently. "No, child. I only reminded you that time doesn't break, people pause. And when they're brave enough to start again, time follows." After she left, Aldrich returned to his workshop and found dozens of one-silent clocks ticking freely, as if celebrating. For the first time in a long while, Aldrich felt the warmth of purpose filling the cold corners of his shop. He wasn't just a clockmaker, he was a mender of moments, a healer of paused hearts. And in that little alleyway, time flowed differently because of him.